Kia ora everybody, and welcome to another week of Whale Watch Weekly Updates. Has been a very good week, especially here in Kaikoura. The weather has been quite nice to us, so we've got our fingers crossed, hoping it all goes good for another week here. But yeah, for anybody that's new, if you don't know what these are about, it only goes for roughly about 10 minutes. I'm just going to give everybody an update of what we see throughout the week, how our tours have been going. Also, we'll be touching on the sea conditions and the weather as well. So, let's just crack straight into it. So, going off from last Friday, the 13th, we had two tours go out that day, and they were very successful. So, the first tour on Friday the 13th was at 10:30, and it looks like they had about 4 encounters with whales. No, 5 encounters with whales. So first up, they seen 2 different sperm whales. The first sperm whale that they seen was a semi-resident whale named Lazarus. And another semi-resident whale that they seen was Mati Mati, and they had 2 encounters with Mati Mati as well. They also got to see 2 different humpbacks for that tour. They got roughly a pot of 10 of dusky dolphins, the shy mollymawk albatross, northern royal albatross, southern royal albatross, and the Salvin's mollymawk albatross. Also seen Cape petrel, northern giant petrel, and the westland petrel. And also came across a few Hutton shearwaters, and also the blackback gull and the red bull gull. In the afternoon, they had another tour on for Friday the 13th, and on that tour, the 1:15 departure, they came across a semi-resident whale named Holy Moly. Also came across a humpback whale. They got a pod of about 10 dusky dolphins. They got to see the shy mollymawk albatross, the southern royal albatross, Cape petrel, northern giant petrel, and the westland petrel. And also came across some fairy prions, and also a blackback gull and a red bull gull. So just going to touch on one of our semi-resident whales that we've seen for that tour. So as I was saying, Lazarus, for those of you that don't know, Lazarus is one of our semi-resident whales. Has been returning back to this area of Kaikoura for a number of years. So just to give you a bit of details about Lazarus, Lazarus was first recorded in this area of Kaikoura on the 17th of November in 1993. Lazarus is at a length of 15.19 metres. This whale was first seen in 1993 and regularly until 2000. Then not recorded in Kaikoura again until 2015, like he had come back from the dead. Hence, that's why he got his name, Lazarus. If anybody knows the story about Lazarus, you can put the puzzle together. And how we identify Lazarus is he has a big knobbly head. So, that there was Friday the 13th. Now let's move on to Saturday the 14th. For that day, we had 2 tours. So the first departure was at 10:30, and on that tour they seen Holy Moly. They also seen Mati Mati, another semi-resident whale. Also came across a humpback whale. They got a pod of roughly about 50 dusky dolphins. They got to see the shy mollymawk albatross, also the northern royal and southern royal. They got to see the Cape petrel, the northern giant petrel, and the westland petrel. Big group of Hutton shearwaters, a white-fronted tern, and also the blackback gull and the red bull gull. That same afternoon, on Saturday the 14th of June, we had another tour on, and that was at 1:15 in the afternoon. And on that tour they seen 2 semi-resident sperm whales, which was Mati Mati, Lazarus. They came across a humpback whale. They got a pod of 20 dusky dolphins, the shy mollymawk albatross, the Salvin's mollymawk albatross, Cape petrel, northern giant petrel, westland petrel, and also the blackback and red ball gull. So you probably heard me mention the name Holy Moly. This is another semi-resident whale that we have been viewing for a number of years. Now, as you can see on Holy Moly, you see that hole in the top of his dorsal fin there. That is one of the main ways that we identify Holy Moly when he's on the surface. And then when Holy Moly brings up his tail, he has a hole on his right hand side of his flute there. But Holy Moly, he was first recorded in Kaikoura on the 6th of June 2006. 666. He is at a length of 14.56 meters. His identifying features has a hole in the right side of his tail and also a hole through his dorsal fin, just like I said before. One thing I forgot to mention is we call these whales, as you know, Lazarus and Holy Moly, but for Otago University, when they come up here and do studies, they have a big catalogue of all the whales that we see here. And for Lazarus, his catalogue name, to let everybody know, is LNR100. That is LNR100, and that is Lazarus. And Holy Moly is known as HR25. That is HR25 for Holy Moly. Cool, so now I'll move on to Sunday, the 15th of June. We had 2 tours on this day, and the first tour went out at 10:30 a.m. On the first tour, they got to see Lazarus twice. They got to see another semi-resident whale, Marama. They got to see a humpback whale, a pod of 20 dusky dolphins, the shy mollymawk albatross, a Cape petrel, a northern giant petrel, and also the blackback and red ball gull. Later that afternoon, at 1:15, they had another tour on, and ladies and gentlemen, they had a very good tour. So they got to see Lazarus twice on this tour, as I was saying, our semi-resident whale, but also they got to see the largest ever creature recorded on planet Earth. They got to see a blue whale. They also got to see a humpback whale as well, a shy mollymawk albatross, a Cape petrel, a northern giant petrel, white-fronted terns, and the blackback and red ball gull. So what a time to be out on the water that day. That was Sunday the 15th at 1:15, coming across the largest creature to be recorded on planet Earth, a blue whale. So blue whales, a few interesting facts. Females are larger than males in the baleen species, but for toothed whales, males are always larger than the females. Now, largest blue whale to be recorded by man, as I was saying, was a female. She measured in over 33 meters long, and she weighed over 220 tonne. Now, a Volkswagen car could fit inside the heart of that blue whale. A human could fit inside the heart arteries, and the tongue of that blue whale weighed exactly the same as an African elephant, which was 5 tonne. So that there gives you a good idea of how large these creatures really are. Cool, moving on to the 16th of June, which was Monday. We had 1 tour on that day, and on that tour they seen our semi-resident whale, Mati Mati. They got to see a humpback whale, New Zealand fur seals. They got to see the largest wingspan of bird being the wandering albatross. They got to see the shy mollymawk albatross, and also a black-browed mollymawk albatross. They also seen the Cape petrel and Westland petrel. Moving on to Tuesday, the 17th of June. 2 tours went out that day. First one was the 10:30 departure. On that tour, they got encounters with the humpback whale. They had a pod of at least 200 dusky dolphins. Also, in amongst those dusky dolphins were some common dolphins as well, roughly about 20. the New Zealand fur seal, the shy mollymawk albatross and the northern royal albatross. They also came across the Cape petrel, northern giant petrel and the westland petrel. That same afternoon, at 1:15, they had a very successful tour. So, another semi-resident whale, Aoraki, was sighted on this tour. Also had 2 encounters with marama. Also 3 different humpback whales were sighted on this tour. A pod of roughly 100 dusky dolphins, New Zealand fur seals, the largest wingspander bird being the Gibson wandering albatross, a northern royal albatross, a shy mollymawk albatross, and the black-browed mollymawk albatross. The Cape petrel, northern giant petrel, and westland petrel, and also the fairy prions and the blackback and red-balled gull. So, last week I did explain a little about marama, another semi-resident whale that we get to view here in Kaikoura. Now, for marama, known in the catalogue as HB120, that is HB120, first recorded in Kaikoura on the 13th of February 2014, is at a length of 14.88 metres. Marama translates to moon, and that is because all of the consistent moon craters look like scallops in his tail. So what they're talking about there, for nobody that understands, is see this part here in the tail, all this part, and over here, they're known to scientists as scallops. So when you look at it, they look like the craters on the moon, and so the name sort of matches the whale itself as well, marama, which means moon. Cool, so on the 18th of June, we had one tour go out that day, and that was at 10:30 a.m. On that tour, we are getting very lucky with our sightings this time of the year, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you that we had 4 encounters with whales. 2 of those encounters were with Lazarus. One of them was with Mati Mati. The other one was with a humpback whale. Got about 20 dusky dolphins, the shy mollymawk albatross, Cape petrels, northern giant petrels and westland petrels, and also the white-fronted tern and the red bull and black bull gulls. And the last tour of the week, until I update everybody next week, was today. And today we only had one tour, but it was very successful. That was at 10:30 today. We went out and we got to see Holy Moly twice. So 2 encounters with Holy Moly. Got to see 2 different individual humpback whales. Got a pod of about 30 dusky dolphins. Got to see the shy mollymawk albatross and the southern royal albatross. Cape petrel and westland petrels. And also the blackback gull and the red-balled gull. So that's the updates that I have for this week, or that's our sightings for this week. But what I'll do, I'll run through a couple more of the semi-resident whales that we have seen for the week. So for those of you that don't know, but this is Mati Mati, one of our semi-resident whales. Now, Mati Mati, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you a few facts about Mati Mati. So, Mati Mati translates from Māori to English, meaning fingers. Now, Mati Mati, known in the catalogue as MTR280, that is MTR280, was first recorded in Kaikoura in 2009, is at a length of about 14.98 metres. Now, Mati Mati translates to fingers. Now, if you have good eyesight, you will see on his left fluke there are 2 skin tags that hang down right there where I'm circling the mouse. Now, one of the captains here used to think it looked like he was pulling the peace sign, hence why he got his name Mati Mati. Another whale that we've seen was Auraki. Auraki translates to cloud piercer, or also can be known as Mount Cook. Now, Auraki in the catalogue is known as MLN230. That is MLN230. First recorded in Kaikoura on the 16th of December in 2005. Is at a length of 14.43 metres. As I was saying, Auraki, which means Mount Cook or cloud piercer. As you can tell by his dorsal fin here, he has a very high pointy dorsal fin, and as you can see, this ridge that runs up, he's the only whale that we can identify that has this dorsal fin, and when he reveals his tail, this is what it looks like. So I will show everybody some photos of the largest creature. So as I said, on the Sunday, which was the 15th, we come across the largest creature on planet Earth, being the blue whale. So we do see them. They usually here about summertime is when we see most of our blue whales. So this time of the year, it's not rare, but it's just unusual. So I will actually play a small presentation for everybody on the blue whale. This here will give you a good comparison, and you can picture how large these creatures really are. So larger than any dinosaur ever to be known by mankind. Yeah, it can grow up to the same length as a Boeing 737 airplane. Okay, so just to give you some more facts about this, the Boeing 737s go up to 140 decibels. These blue whales go up to 180 decibels. But a sperm whale, when they are trying to stun their prey, that can actually reach, that sound that they use to stun the prey, that can actually go up to a length of 220 decibels. Sorry, go up to 220 decibels, not length, sorry. So yeah, the equivalent weight is about 6 of those jets. As I was saying, African elephant is the same weight as the tongue of a blue whale. Now this is not on average, this is the largest one recorded. So the heart of a blue whale, I was reading something a few years ago where someone was in the water and there's a blue whale not too far away from them, and they reckon they could hear the heartbeat of the blue whale. Not sure if that's true or not, but that was something that I did read. But a Volkswagen car can fit inside the heart of this blue whale. Don't forget, I'm talking about the largest one recorded, not the average one. And the human can fit inside the heart arteries. Probably not me though, just your average size human. There's a lot of blood, 10 ton of blood in the body. 1,000 litres per beat. About 70 to 80 years of age is what these whales live up to, just depending. Now because they are a baleen whale, these whales feed on smaller schooling fish and also krill. Yeah, so only threats in the water are mainly the orca or killer whales. But the only thing that the orcas will eat of the blue whale is actually their tongue. So from there, that whale will actually die, and then the rest of the ocean actually feed on it. So yeah, blue whales can be viewed all around the world there, as you can see, but they are more common in certain areas. and some images just for people to have a look at as well. As you'd noticed, when I was reading out those sightings, we have been seeing a lot of humpback whales in the past few weeks. Usually around May to July is a prime time to see humpback whales migrate through this area. They're coming up from Antarctica and migrating up to their breeding grounds, Australia, Tonga, all around the equator where the water's much warmer. And then after that breeding season, that is when they'll start heading back down to Antarctica again. This is actually one of the photos that our researchers took on the boat. We've actually got a few volunteer researchers that go out on the tours, get us some good photos so we can start recording for ID purposes. They actually caught this awesome photo here of one of the humpback whales breaching. You probably, if you're cruising down the coast, especially if you've never been here to Kaikoura, and if you do, just keep an eye out to the ocean there when you're driving up. Quite often you can actually see whales jumping out of the water when they're close. Not so much sperm whales though. Sperm whales are only found in deeper water, mainly the humpback whales. So that's cool. The last 2 weeks we've had a few different semi-resident sperm whales in this area. Remember last week we actually got to see a southern right whale, and he was really playful, jumping out of the water breaching, giving us tail slaps. Seen a lot of humpback whales, and this week here we are lucky enough to see the mighty blue whale as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have time for. Now, as I was saying, I'm only keeping these short and sharp, a good sort of 10 minutes, just to give everybody an update. Before I go, I forgot to mention our weather forecasts for the next few days. So, for tomorrow, Friday, Matariki Day, got northwest 25 knots, turning southerly 25 knots in the afternoon. Sea rough, southwest swell 1 metre. Yes, it's not too bad. Northwest, it's a bit hit and miss, especially in this area of Kaikoura. It can blow 30 knots northwest and the sea can be completely calm. Yet other days it can blow 25 knots northwest and it can be choppy as anything. But the southerly is the one that we don't like to see. That is quite often when we get the big swells and it makes it very uncomfortable to sail. But only looking at a metre swell might be okay for us. Saturday doesn't look too flash though. Southwest 30 knots. Don't like seeing 30 knots of southerly. However, Sunday it looks like it settles down a bit and then changes at night, and then Monday 25 knots ease into variable 10 knots later. Yeah, so it looks like there is a bit of wind around. Touch wood and got my fingers crossed that it's still okay for us to take some passengers out and it's nice and comfortable and they can view some of the sightings that we have been seeing as well. But as I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have time for. Now, just a reminder for everybody, every Thursday at 6 PM New Zealand time, this is when I will be going live, just to tell everybody what we have been seeing lately. That is only throughout the winter. When we start getting busier, maybe throughout the sort of mid-time and about midway through spring to all of summer, I'll actually try and do these probably 2 to 3 times a week, as we will be having more tours. So yeah, I'll keep everybody updated on these every Thursday night when I do them. Don't forget, if you have any questions throughout these lives, just write in the chat there. I'm always looking at it. Anytime I will answer it when I can. Even afterwards, leave a comment on the video as well. Let me know what you want to see or what you want me to talk about as well. It's always good to get feedback and make these get better and better and more exciting for all of you that are watching. Apart from that, guys, have a very good weekend. Happy Matariki, and we will see everybody next Thursday at 6 PM. We will see you all later.